my thoughts before.
Welcome to the Only One Mic podcast called Gerard Brooklyn Dre. J-Rob is in the building. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today, y'all. So just want y'all to just buckle up. We're going to get right into it. But first, check this out.
Praise the Lord. Why don't you tell everybody how you got so rich, Daddy Rich? This is one you ain't fooling, brother. I mean, I'm hip to the game you running down on these people here.
Well, what can I do for you, brother?
Oh, the same thing you're doing for everybody else. Nothing.
Because you don't believe my church. The Church of Divine Economics.
That's right. I don't believe in it.
And you don't believe in God.
Not your God.
Yeah, brothers. They pinched him. They pinched him.
Daddy Rich, man.
Lamor Whitehead. Man, we got a lot of, you know, I'm going to preface this by saying, man, I believe in God. Definitely believe
Definitely.
in real God. You know what I mean? The false prophet angers me to an extent that, and Jay, you laughing, man. I always kind of fashion myself pretty calm guy from what I'm being told from others. You know what I mean?
Word.
And it's something about that false prophet, man. Just not gamma rays in me. Because I know I'm not really supposed to feel this way, but when I see the false prophet, I just really want to just, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because I know what it's hitting for.
I can see how somebody could stick them up.
You understand? Like I said, the natural you will understand that. You know what I mean?
Word.
The natural you will understand it. Like I was telling Dre earlier, this is probably how Jesus felt when he was flipping over those tables in the church. You know what I mean? Chasing out the money changers and beating them, man. Because it's something in them that it's just like to pimp the word of God, twisted into the way that you want it to be.
Just innocent people, man.
Innocent people. So
innocent people. Trying to do the right thing.
They're just trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
That's what it is. But Lamor Whitehead, I mean, we spoke about him before. Lamor.
All right.
Remember?
All right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When he ran down on him.
Right.
And so,
when he choked the chick out in the church.
Choked the woman out. The altercation online with the two podcasters or whatever they are.
Other pastors or whatever.
I don't know what they were, to be honest with you, because one of them looked, I'm not even going to get into it. But anyway.
Go ahead and say it, man. Go ahead and say it.
Yeah, it looks sweet.
It look a little topsy-turvy.
It looks sweet. Man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I didn't want to get into it because I don't want to get off of what I'm talking about. But anyway, he got pinched by the feds. They've been investigating him for a while now. So he has extortion on the list, stealing $90,000 from a parishioner, which was brought up in a press conference last summer. I believe it was when they ran down on him.
I thought he said he beat that case originally.
Nah. The reporter actually brought it up. And if you guys, just a cheap plug, if you go back and listen to our previous episode when we discussed that whole situation, it's in there. We discussed the $90,000 alleged theft from one of his parishioners' retirement account. A reporter brought it up. He kind of danced around that situation. You didn't hear anything else about it after that until now. Also, they pinched him for lying to federal agents during an investigation. Now, real rap. I want y'all to hear this. The actual paperwork, and this is the actual indictment from the Southern District of New York. Just to read a few things, just a quick essentially. In fact, Whitehead, who leads a church in Brooklyn, which I'm ashamed that we're all from the borough that this cat is from. In Brooklyn, New York, intended and did defraud the victims by taking their money and other property with no intention of investing it, returning it, or enriching the victim. Fellas, let's go through this real quick, all right? So, of course, there's the issue of the $90,000 from the parishioner, just to give you a little context in it. The prosecutor said that Whitehead offered to help one of his parishioners buy a new house, talking her into withdrawing $90,000 over the course of 14 months from her retirement account. In a statement, he says...
It's old school word, finesse.
Finesse, hard body. So he says, I'm a man of integrity and you will not lose. Now, we've heard this before when he was riding around quoting Jay-Z and all that.
Typical con
man stuff, man. All right. So Whitehead texted the woman, but the prosecutor said he spent the money on luxury goods. And when she asked for the money back, Whitehead said it was too late. That's one count. That's the stealing the $90,000. Now let's move into the false statement. The false statement charge arose from an encounter with the FBI agent who executed a search warrant for his mobile phones. The indictment said he told the agents he only had the one cell phone he was carrying at the time, but he had a second phone that he regularly used. And this is what the indictment said. Now, if you read the indictment, like I said, folks, you can pull it up online. It goes into a little bit of a deeper thing with that. The feds were already months into an investigation into Bishop Whitehead's past financial dealings, and accusations first raised in lawsuits over the years reappeared as criminal charges on Monday. That was, as of what was Monday, the 19th, the 20th, something like that, the 19th. He faces 1 count each of wire fraud, attempted wire fraud, and attempted extortion and false statements. All right. So let's see. Let's go into the extortion part of it. The context on the extortion says he tried to persuade a businessman to give him $500,000 in a stake in some real estate transactions. In return, Whitehead promised favorable actions, folks, from the city that would make them millions, even though, according to the indictment, he knew he could not make good on the promise. Now, he didn't call any names on this, but he has a past association with the current mayor, Eric Adams, who since distanced himself from Whitehead. And a statement that he made is, "I've spent decades enforcing the law and expect everyone to follow it." So he distanced himself from Lamor Whitehead. So these are
Adams from Queens?
I think so. I could be wrong.
Oh yeah, they know how to get it. They know how to get out of Dodge, man.
Yeah. So of course, just to give you a backstory again, he made headlines in July when the gunman appeared during a service at his Leaders of Tomorrow International Ministries Church, if that's what you want to call it, whose sanctuary is above a Haitian restaurant. The service was showing on a live stream, and it went viral, and 2 men were later arrested.
All right.
And so, of course, if you go into his backstory, when he was younger, he had spent time in prison for taking large amounts of money from acquaintances. He was ordered to pay a former client $306,000 in 2008 after he did not repay an initial investment of $200,000. He also owed more than $400,000 in judgments to a construction company that had worked on his house, and he owed the credit union that financed his Mercedes-Benz and his Range Rover. So he was also convicted on Long Island of several charges, including identity theft, which I guess would be hand in hand with taking out loans in other people's names and using the money for cars and motorcycles.
He's a scammer.
This was according to the evidence presented at his trial. Gentlemen.
He's an old school scam. Well, he's a new school scammer.
New school scammer.
But I mean, and then of course he's
allegedly.
I mean,
with old school principles.
Old school principles. He spent 5 years in prison, and later, upon his release, founded the Leaders of Tomorrow International Ministry Church.
Yeah, he don't know. He been in jail too long. He don't know you can do it on the computer and just not see nobody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's so sad.
He still want to get up close and personal.
Yeah,
you know
he's still fast talking.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And it says here that this is a statement from one of his followers from last summer. There, it says that his followers have said that his expensive tastes are inspirational. Rappers, singers, the way they attract people, like we discussed earlier, that's the laws of attraction. They attract people. That's what he's doing. One woman said, and this is one inspiration. They're saying people want to know how you got all that. Once you get there, you see that he's teaching God. This is what I'm talking about. You know what I mean?
She said he's teaching God.
Yeah, it said like basically he attracts you in with all the flashiness. And then once you get there, because your initial thought from what she's saying is that you want to see how he got all this. You attracted to the flashiness of it. But once you get there, he's teaching you about God.
That was your fault in the first place. I mean, that's the problem with this church stuff now, man. Is that a lot of these churches like that. It's not really about church. It's
fake
about
churches. Fake churches.
Yeah, fake churches. Yeah, it's really about them going there rubbing elbows. You know what I mean? They go in there to see how a person got that car. They want to be a part of the Ponzi scheme. They want to get their hands in the, they want to get their hands in the machine. They want to be in the machine, yeah. You know what I mean? So that's where you went wrong in the first place. You should have went there for the truth. You wouldn't have got robbed. You know what I mean? Well, you shouldn't have went there for the truth. I apologize. You should be going to an actual church for the truth.
Yeah, for the church, for actual church. You're right. For the truth. It's not in him. It's not in him. And he's on Instagram still trying to justify this stuff.
You know, the crazy thing about him is he was saying, like, his claim to fame on one of the things I was watching to him is like, everybody thought initially I got robbed because I set it up or whatever the case may be. I mean, I actually thought he was a part of the hustle too, initially. Forget about that. The problem is you got robbed at the end of the day because you're a hustler.
Yeah. People
in the hood recognize it. Even us, we grew up in the street. Before we came into church and everything like that, we actually sat down and read some scriptures. And we were able to even back then say, that's not church. And in our young minds, we probably wouldn't have had a problem with running up on a dude like this. You know what I mean?
He actually would be the guy that you would run up on.
Now that we older and we really in the church, you just say, all right, listen, we can recognize he's a false prophet and, we can just push him to the side. At a young mind, I wouldn't have had no problem probably punching him. Be truthful. Probably wouldn't have had no problem with it. I'm not telling nobody to do it. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm just saying without knowledge, knowledge, and you're just reading the scriptures and stuff like that, and you're sitting there looking at it like, yo, he's lying.
He's taken from what would be considered the weak, like women, older people, you know what I'm saying? And he preying on their weaknesses, and that's the deplorable part for me. That's the reason why, in my mind, if I was a young guy, I would get him, you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And the sad part is that when you look at Lamor Whitehead and when we talk about Jamal Bryant's foolishness, the TD Jakeses and everybody, this is the perception of, church and most
church.
But it's not this church, it's with everybody. People respect and they put people on pedestals that have affluence, whether it be rappers, entertainers, pastors, whatever the case may be. They look to them because that's their symbol of success.
I mean, let me ask y'all, man, would you want to see your pastor at the BET Hip Hop Awards?
Doesn't make sense, man. It's absolutely ridiculous. I think all of that stuff is ridiculous. You see Kirk Franklin there with his little tight pink shirts on and looking like Prince, like the gospel version of Prince. All these people look crazy. And as a matter of fact, they don't even look like gospel artists. I mean, if you can say that, I mean, you think about the people back then, and I think, who knows, maybe they could have been suspect too, like the Mahalia Jacksons and the old singers of their time. At least like they tried to look the part a little bit. These guys now, I mean, it's like you can't tell them from Mary J. Blige or whoever else is there.
It's just at this point, it shouldn't even be called gospel music in their category. They're more like what you call them, inspirational.
Man, sometimes you turn on that gospel music, man. They done took DMX and or any other hip hop joint. Man. You can't even tell it's gospel.
Kirk Franklin just remade a thong song.
Did he?
What? You got to be kidding, man. You serious?
He did?
Wow. The fact that you even got to question that, like, whoa, yeah.
Maybe he did.
That's the problem.
Maybe he did.
Listen, man, I remember hearing somebody did a gospel song and they did a version of it. It's gin and juice.
Crazy.
It's gin and juice. But they mix some gospel words in it, but the sample and everything is from Snoop Dogg's Gin and Juice.
Yeah, but that's what they doing in that genre of music. That's how they playing with it.
They said once upon a time that Stomp was played more in the club than it was in the church.
You know what's sad? Mm-hmm. I remember being in North Carolina, Fayetteville, North Carolina. This is a long time ago. They played Stomp in the club, and right after Stomp came on, this is back then, they used to have rump shaker contests in the same club. I remember as a kid being in the club, and I was like, yo, this is wrong. Like, something's wrong.
They was having rump shaker contests to Stomp?
Yeah, it was in Fayetteville, North Carolina, man. Everybody down there in Fayetteville remember the club, Flavor. Yeah. And it was, they played Stomp, and what's the Mary joint? Shackles on My Feet.
oh yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because it's like, now, but it's like looking back on my life back then, I was like, even back then, I was like, yo, something's wrong here.
I went to a Mary concert back like in 02 or something crazy, 02, 03. And I just was like, I don't know. I'm uncomfortable. I'm sitting there watching them perform. I'm just lusting. You know what I'm saying? It just made me uncomfortable.
You thought you was at one of them?
Yeah, I thought I was watching Mary or something. You know what I mean?
Nah. I thought you was at one of the Philly Tina Marie concerts.
Yeah, at the man or something. You know what I mean? They over there shaking.
Yeah, man. It's a real weird, man. It's like being at the club, man.
Yeah, this is my thing, right? I love a woman's shape, but they should never be ashamed of their shape. But it should be a difference between what's considered secular or worldly and what's considered righteous. Matter of fact, there is a difference, but people blend those things.
Yeah, there is a definite difference. It's just that now, it's just so the world is just so sick. They just combine it all. There's no separation in it. I mean, we go to a real church, so we know what the separation is, and our church separates these things, man. But it's just sad to see that these preachers and stuff like that can do this kind of stuff, man. The guy's riding around listening to Jay-Z,
remixing them.
and he, I'm not going to sit here and be like holier than thou, because when we come to church, I love hip hop music. I still have a love for it. So when we come to church, we try to start trying to learn to start get rid of things, or taste the things that you have. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying that a pastor's above not having a like for hip hop music and all that other stuff like that, but I will say this: why would I want to be at the church and watching my pastor driving around banging Jay-Z? You know what I mean? I need somebody to be ahead of this shit, trying to teach me how to do the right thing. Not saying he's above being making a mistake or anything like that. I'm just
well,
saying.
the thing is like when you go back,
And then he's advertising the mistake.
Well, he's advertising the mistake, but it's almost as if he's rubbing, everyone's nose in it.
He's shining.
Well, yeah, that's what the word I'm looking for. Yeah, he's more like shining. Shameless plug. Go back and look at the episode that we did. When he's in the car and he's doing the Jay-Z remix, he's like, Bishop, Apostle. You are
shouting it out like you Kid Capri or something.
Right,
like
right. But the key word is Bishop.
It's the Kid Capri.
Feeling itself.
It's a difference because it's the, Bishop and Apostle. Like, look, we all have our thing that we dealing with, stuff that we have to overcome. We get that. But in the same token, we're not leading people. You know what I mean? We're not leading people. He's on that pulpit every Sunday, so-called leading people. And he's going to send a lot of people to hell with his message because what he's doing is not scriptural. And sometimes not only do I get angry at the false prophet itself, but I'm like, yo, some people. It's like, yo, wake up. You got to wake up.
That shows you though that the people just looking for someone. They're looking for a leader. The people need a leader, and they clamoring for anything. And when they see these trinkets and these awards, these essences of success, like cars, clothes, jewelry, they just flock into it because they need a leader. It's
like real weird as far as like how we just accept anybody, accept anybody. I have to say this. I mean, he's a black man. I didn't see any white people in the church or anything like that. But it seems like we just accept the idiots more than anybody. Although I can't say that because they got coats in white.
Well, Osteen and them is about half past nuts too.
You got somebody out here. Don't forget about the boy wedding house or something like that.
Oh yeah, Delaware. It's a lot of weirdos out here, man, in these churches, man. I don't understand how somebody could pick up a Bible and just walk into a church and
that's because we all right here at this conversation, we all have morals and principles, and we not gonna play. We understand that. Hey, I ain't perfect, and I'm not gonna play with that like that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, y'all, and I'm not gonna make this no black or white issue because this is good and evil. We got Whitehead here. He's getting indicted for the things that he did. Did anybody recall when Joel Osteen found all that money in the wall allegedly? The construction worker banged out the wall, found money all in the wall, wild money in there. You ain't heard nobody talk about it. You know what his response was on that? It was like, oh, no, it was there. And that was it. Right. Nobody discussed it after that. You know what I mean? So it's
didn't he have a jet or something?
Oh, man, the Osteen, Osteen got the old, what stadium did he get?
He got one stadium. I forget.
Oh man, he brought an old, like his congregation fills this old like stadium. I forgot what football stadium it was. But yeah, man, the dude getting bread to the point where
in the Midwest.
No, I thought Joel Osteen was in Texas, man.
He's in Texas. Yeah, you're right.
I think he's in Texas, man.
Yeah, he's in Texas. So it's just the fact that he had all that money in the wall. Nobody discussed it no further than that. You didn't hear any indictments, no investigations, nothing.
That's probably one of the cats in one of them offices said, "Man, this is a hustle, man. I'm going to stole a couple of these dollars up in this wall. I'm gonna come back and get this thing."
Yeah, he out of Houston, Texas, y'all. He out of Houston, Texas.
Yeah, man, that's crazy,
and
man.
It's crazy. So speaking of crazy, we also got, as y'all all know, Jamal Bryant.
Yeah.
All right, so
never scumbag.
Oh, man, slimy. I tell you that the false prophet is something else, man. So, of course, his new mission.
He want to sell edibles in the church, man.
Not edibles. He wants to.
I'm just saying. He want to get the whole thing. He's not going to stop with the weed. If he
no,
get the weed going, he going to get everything going. Man.
New Birth Ministry Baptist Church.
Plan.
Yeah. New Birth Ministry Baptist Church in Atlanta, and he wants to grow weed. They got land, and his first thought when he got land was, I'm going to get some brothers together and grow weed. You got land. Couldn't do affordable housing, community center. Actually grow vegetables and fruit.
Grow vegetables and apples.
Yeah, something like that. So black people can eat healthy. He want to get little Man and Ray in them and teach them how to cultivate weed. So here's gosh.
I don't really find it as a religious person. Yes, I understand that that's a bad thing. But as an entrepreneur and as a business person, like you're putting that is a marketable asset, and you can bring resources to the community with that asset.
Yeah, well, I mean, but I get what you're saying. But listen, man, it's church, man. It's church, man. You know how many people?
That's what makes it wrong, because it's church.
That's just like saying, let's just open up the cellar and go down there and let some grapes ferment and everything like that, man.
Scare everybody, make our own wine. You know, like it's crazy. Yeah, so I mean, what do you put? Do you put New Birth Baptist
start chopping up some potatoes or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, do you put the New Birth Missionary Baptist Church name on the pack or what?
The Tree of Life.
That's messed up, man. Anyway, y'all, let's hear what Jamal Bryant had to say.
The New Birth Ranch.
The New Birth Ranch.
Tyson, the Tyson Ranch. Yeah,
this idiot.
I'm after people who don't go to church. And a lot of churches are just recycling people from other churches. That's not who I'm after. I'm looking for people that smell like weed. I'm at a place, Rashawn. Really is. New Birth is the largest land-owning black church in America. Wow. And so my position to my deacons is, why aren't we not raising cannabis? I'll be able to bring in black males. They're able to do it legally. I'm teaching them farming.
Oh, my God.
I'm helping them to enhance the ecosystem. This is the kind of conversation. So if the guy, black boy in Bankhead, said, they growing weed at the church, where do I join?
Yes.
I don't need no pamphlet for him. Yeah,
Right.
He coming in.
That's ridiculous.
It is a serviceable skill.
Yeah, man, but you can't sell weed in the church, man.
Did you listen to the words?
Listen,
I feel you. I'm being funny, but I feel I feel where you're coming from, and the reason why it's wrong is because of the righteous aspect of church.
Yeah, we get you.
But if we're looking at it as a community building thing, like this is an asset to the community. If you have the land, you need to be able to cultivate that crop. It brings in a lot of revenue.
I can counter it also by saying that he's targeting young black boys.
Yeah.
Which we all know. Oh, hold on, before you get in that, but which we all know, the whole cannabis thing, weed, reefer, whatever you want to call it, is a big disparity if the young black boy gets caught with it. Right. So for you to make that your target audience, also in a climate where, especially in Atlanta, crime is at an all-time high. People are getting killed left and right. And Jamal Bryant thinking that we just growing pot. Where you get these kids, man, these kids might come in there with that, but they got a whole different plan in their mind, because we about to pimp Jamal Bryant, take this weed, put whatever we going to put with it, and put it out in the street on the church's dime.
Or actually learn how to grow it, you know what I'm saying, and set up our own little situations because we got the knowledge and the information on how to build this crop from farming. Yeah, I mean, but hey, man.
I mean, listen, man, you got people in that congregation that's coming into your church that's dealing with drug issues. That's sitting amongst your congregants.
Yeah, church is a rehabilitation center, man.
Right,
like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, you're supposed to go there to try to get right. Don't get me wrong. I hear what you're saying. Like, I mean, if you ain't got no God in you and you don't care about no religious nothing or anything like that, then I could see how you could just say, it's a business and just move on or whatever the case may be. But you're talking about when you're sitting inside an actual church, you know what I mean? Like, we trying to get right. We trying to change our lives and stuff like that. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think things have deteriorated over the years. Like, don't get me wrong. I have friends that grew up and they was on, a lot of friends I had that, that did marijuana. I never really was a big into weed smoking, anything like that. I'm not going to say holier than now because I did alcohol. Alcohol was my thing back then. You know what I mean? But I'll say all of this to say, even in my friends back then, it seemed like they had some sort of get up and go about them.
Right.
What we're pushing on to these children is different. These children that are on weed is different, man.
Because the weed
there's no there's no motivation in them, man. I was telling my son, I had a conversation with him. I said, I think this weed is like the new crack. It's similar in that sense because I've watched these children who dress nice and whatever the case may be, and now you see them, they don't even dress properly. They just all weeded out. You know what I mean? They look bad. You watch them go to work and you see them, how their whole lives is being changed by this marijuana, man. It's a different thing. It kind of reminds me of crack. How I watch family members at one time or another, they was fly. They used to dress nice or whatever the case may be. once they got hooked on crack, you just watched their whole demeanor change, their whole style change. They used to be somebody important in the neighborhood. And once they started doing that drug, they just went down. And I think that's the difference with what's going on right now. It's not like what was done, as done through our childhood. I'm not saying that none of it is right, but I'm saying that these new kids, man, and what we're promoting to them, man, we're destroying this generation.
How long do you think it takes before this whole thing blows up in his face?
I don't even know if he's going to be able to pull it off, man, because I think he's talking, but...
I believe it's just a thought, but if he was to bring it in fruition, just a statement alone is very...
I'm quite sure as sick as these...
I think niggas would ride with it.
They would.
I'm not saying no. I'm not going to say no.
They be running around talking about, I got that Tree of Life pack.
Yeah.
I think they would, honestly. Because what his target audience is, that was a call to action right there. Mm-hmm. That was a call to action. That ain't just words in an interview, man. You know what he's saying. Now, the type of people that you're going to attract, how long do you think before something goes left, now you being investigated and all this stuff because of the actions that's going on under your roof?
Doggone well, man. If we sitting there cutting weed on the farm at church, you can best believe there's going to be a lot of pocketfuls going out of there different ways, man.
Yeah, you couldn't track how much, even... For instance, right? Even if they just took the shake, they could make money off of it. They're like the scraps.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they don't even have to steal it. They can just use the leftovers and make bread off it.
Right. Because how do you regulate that? If this is the largest landowning church in Atlanta, who's the, if I can use the term, overseer of that field? You know what I mean? Who's watching it? How do you not know that person is not in the pocket too?
And if
it's certain things.
And you can't quantify like the waste. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not something that they're measuring. Yeah. They're measuring how much you're actually producing and selling, not what's left over that you just dump it off.
And the bigger question is, where do you sell it at? Yeah. Do you open up a dispensary on the church grounds? Again, you're going to attract people that's not coming to the church.
You can best believe you done went this far. You might as well open your own dispensary.
When in my opinion, when it comes down to that money, they're going to get that money and they're going to do it.
They'll figure it out.
Let me tell you something about the Baptist church. If they open up for weed, it's going to be one of the best weed spots.
Not only that, if they play,
sad to say, man.
The truth be told, if they play their cards right, this could actually start a whole economic base in the black community.
I just don't see the equity in that. You know what I mean?
I don't see the equity in it being affiliated with the church.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I definitely see the equity in it with it being a power base for the black community to be able to, one, teach how to actually grow crops. Even if you don't want to grow weed, you can grow fruits and vegetables. Now you actually have a serviceable skill. You can feed your family.
Maybe he should have started off with that, though, Jack.
Hey, listen.
You know what I mean? They just say like, we're going to teach you how to be farmers, but... I'm sorry, go ahead.
If I ain't got no God, if I ain't got no God in me, and you teach me how to grow weed, I'm not growing apples ever again, man. That's it for apples, Jack. That's it for pears and everything else.
But the thing that again, and the circles back.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna try to get the recipe for Coke. I'm gonna get the whole thing. You might as well.
I tell you what, it sounds crazy.
If that's where you going, why stop?
I think that if you give it maybe not in our lifetime, you give it a couple of years, they're gonna legalize coke and crack.
Yeah, but you can't touch that. Like you can touch weed, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody want to be messing around like, oh man,
no, they will legalize coke.
What? Let me tell you something.
Alcohol was taboo at one point. They gonna legalize coke, man. They legalize.
If you done morally corrupted and bent over and decide to sell weed in church, ain't nowhere in the world you're gonna say, "Listen, man, I'm gonna stop at coke. Coke is where I draw the line." Like,
you be in there pressing up fake pills and everything.
Heroin, everything, anything goes at this point.
But you know what I'm curious to see again with the false prophet is how is he going to use that Bible to try to justify this trash?
You're gonna talk about the herbs. It's a God made herbs. They're gonna do all kind of stupid garbage like that. You know what I mean? To make it Make it right. I mean, which, I'm not saying that that's stupid. I mean, I'm paraphrasing what he said, but herbs are for men. But still, that doesn't mean how they mean to abuse anything. It's just like some people say, well, why is alcohol on the earth? Whatever the case may be, and say that God wants you to get drunk. That kind of stupid garbage. But anything you do to alleviate yourself is no good for you.
He turned the water into wine. He wanted us to have it.
That's what people use that argument, and they use that argument. Yeah. You know what I mean? That for infirmary's sake and all that, they will use that argument. But
here go another argument that they might use. They might say, "Well, Jesus went to the sinners."
I mean, no.
What he was saying is right.
That's correct. That's correct. You do want to pull them in, but what you pulling them in for is incorrect. You know what I mean?
No, he said, "I want to smell that good on you when you come by here,
because I know who to hire.
I'm going to teach you how to make it." That's what he's saying. That's the contradiction. Jesus.
This is the thing, right?
He turned into Walter White.
If you was outside, right? If we was outside and we seen some young kids that they just like to fight a lot, and we had a boxing gym, you know what? We're gonna bring these little young cats into the boxing gym because they like what we actually teach. It's the same principle here.
But not as weed, man.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
If we brought some cats in here and they like to read, they like to do art, you know what I mean? They like to do, maybe even some poetry or something like that. Yeah, man.
We don't want them artsy guys over here.
It's like when Blockbuster.
We projecting to a different demographic.
When Blockbuster was open, what's the perfect people to hire? It's people who like movies. Now we bring you in here. We let you. But
they come in. They can help. They can help the customers.
You discuss movie with a cat long enough. Like, hey man, you want a job? You seem knowledgeable in this area. But he said like he wanted cats to smell like weed because he looking for employees. He looking for people that can tell him what to mix with what. This is ridiculous, man. The false prophet. Oh gosh.
I'm gonna tell you what. Good luck with finding some black people that want to do some farming.
Now, if you put that weed on it though, in crazy. Atlanta. They'll do that.
Crazy.
That's probably why he didn't lead with fruits and vegetables.
Yeah. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about these kids.
I don't know,
a different
man.
ballgame.
Weed. It's weed. Them kids will do it.
I think the kids will do it. They be motivated for that.
Now, the crazy part is to get people working in the field in the South. We all know how that turned out.
Them plants. You don't put a marijuana seed in the ground and the plant pop up tomorrow, man. It don't work like that way.
So you said the way these kids is, them kids will probably camp out in the field.
When kids put them seeds in the ground, they want to see action tomorrow, man.
They be sitting there watching that dirt.
They want to come back.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was gonna pop off immediately, man. And God forbid, the crop go bad. You might not never see them again, man.
I don't see this.
It's a bad idea, man. Jamal Bryant is a special
dirt bag. This is like
dirt bag anyway.
The dirt bag edition of our show tonight.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
scumbag edition, man.
I wonder what they think about each other.
Yeah, like I wonder what that conversation is like.
Yeah, what that conversation would be like, man.
Probably justifying it, crap.
Like, we both out of town. What you trying to get into?
So let that Brooklyn hustler come to Atlanta.
They probably out there trying to get it in together, man.
Oh, man. Things have changed, brother. Things have changed. Speaking of which, completely off book, but just equally as crazy. Drag queen story time, folks.
Oh, man.
Disgusting, man.
Very much so. So,
all of this stuff got up under my skin, but this one really, really got up under my skin.
I just want to know who thought that this was a good idea.
And you know the sad part about it? It's going on all over. It's a couple of different places.
A couple of different places have done this. And, of course, the drag queen story time is when they get the drag queens together and they sit there and read to the kids and make this thing look as normal as possible. It used to be a time where,
who thought this was right?
I don't know. You get like Kermit the Frog or read to a kid or something. I don't know. But
okay, instead of having Kermit the Frog, now you have trannies. This is wild.
And this is disgusting, man.
It's crazy as all get up. So what happens is that this took place in New York, and
not that it matters either way, but
this is one of the
shit like Shaq in a wig, man.
Yeah, it's crazy, and a lot of makeup.
I say chick, I mean the dude.
Hold on, we didn't do this all night. God, that's a worthy one in that one. Shaq in a wig and a lot of makeup.
Yeah, like Shaq in a wig looking at kids, man. Like Sasquatch.
That's crazy, man.
Scared these kids to death, man.
All right, kids. We're going to read Humpty Dumpty.
Oh, man.
Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But, yo, man. So this happened in New York.
This nigga palming the whole book.
Over here spinning on his finger and everything.
Yeah, spinning the book on his finger.
Crazy. So this happened in New York, and protesters vandalized the New York City councilman's home, who kind of put...
Be quiet.
It's all together. Remember?
Be quiet, Michael. Larry. Pay attention.
Remember the only time you could see a man in makeup was Ronald McDonald?
Yeah, remember
it made sense.
Man, they had mesh story time. I remember when I was a kid, man, in first grade, second grade. Remember story time when your teacher read to you? It was a beautiful time, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? They done messed it all up. You know what I mean? Oh, man.
I'm going to be honest. If that happens, if my kid came back from school like, hey, at story time, we had this dude in the wig come tell us a story, like, I'm done. Like, you know what I mean?
I'm going to run down on you.
Yeah, I'm going to the school.
We got a serious conversation, man. Have a conversation, man. I wish you would. And all the time they could asking for consent and all kind of stuff, and for people to sign off on stuff. I mean, who signed off on that?
Man.
Well, it's a public event. So the council member's name is Eric Botcher.
You could have brought Lisa Bonet in and you do this.
How about that? Eric Botcher helped organize Drag Story Hour, a storytelling program where drag performers read children's books on Saturday at a Manhattan library, and this brought in protesters, of course. And they
I want to protest. I want to come there. Yo, we should do that, man.
What?
We got to go to this, man.
Well, I'm not. Oh, I thought you were saying I'm not sitting there listening to drag queen. No. Like what?
Go there.
What was that, brother Dick?
Walk over there, sit Indian style. Listen to the story.
I go there and kick the book right out of Shaq's head. Set it off right there. Like.
I know what happened if you give a mouse a cookie. I'm good. I tell you nothing about that. But yeah, it says this happened Saturday at a Manhattan library, and the protesters went so far as to vandalize the lawmaker's house, the councilman. So this is coming to us by courtesy of Pix 11 News in New York. Check this out.
It's being hurled at council member Eric Botcher, who's openly gay.
This speech can lead to very bad things happening.
The words were scrawled outside his Chelsea home and inside his district office building Monday in the wake of drag story time for children that drew protests outside a nearby library.
I want to show you the face of hate right here in Chelsea. What are you, a pedophile?
The Manhattan lawmaker backed the event where a person dressed in drag read children's stories and colored with kids. Botcher says it's about teaching diversity and inclusivity.
And by the way, if you don't like the program, don't go to it. There were parents with children who happened to be neurodiverse children.
Some of the same protesters allegedly stormed his office yesterday afternoon and vandalized the wall, then broke into his apartment building hours later before writing graffiti outside. A neighbor who tried to intervene was seen on camera being assaulted and thrown to the ground. 2 women were arrested on misdemeanor charges.
Even though we are a beacon of diversity for the entire world, we still have people here who harbor great hatred. That's why we can't let our guard down for a minute.
Congressman Jerry Nadler wrote on Twitter in support of Bottcher's effort, along with Mayor Eric Adams, who even visited the council member at his home. Both condemned the rhetoric, calling it a dangerous and disgusting display of hate. In a statement, Drag Story Hour NYC says it stands with Bottcher, and the support it's gotten has enabled the program to expand its outreach.
And the mayor went on to thank the NYPD for its diligence as well in this matter, which continues to be investigated. However, it is unclear if this will be classified as a hate crime. Both women who were arrested have been released with desk appearance tickets.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Yeah, so that's where we at. But now,
tell you what, though.
I do want to preface by saying I don't think that nobody should get, you know what I mean?
Beat up.
Yeah, like I like that. That's the thing. I don't want you to deprive the rights, nothing like that.
Don't.
You know what I'm saying? I just, this just ain't it.
I'm not condoning
do something
violence
else.
on
Try
the show.
something else. Like that ain't it.
However, I mean, you know, I don't agree with it. I'm quite sure that you gentlemen don't. I don't agree with drag queen story time. I don't. Take it how you want it. You know what I mean? Whoever's listening to this, I don't agree with it. What are your guys' thoughts on this particular topic?
Yeah, you already know. I think it's disgusting. And listen, let me tell you something.
Like I said, it ain't it.
I want to protest. I want to go get me a sign and protest. I want to know when the next one's coming. I want to be involved. First time I ever held a picket sign in my life. I've never been moved so much in my life.
So not overt racism, but drag queen story time.
Oh yeah, this brings it out of me, man. Yeah. Man, you know how hurt I would be to see them little children in there sitting, looking at Shaq in a wig. Actually, reading a book for. Man, I'd be upset.
Yeah.
Man.
Again, I don't think that they should be deprived of rights, not beat up. This just ain't a good idea. Like, find something else.
Well, you know what? They had the same situation in Oregon, but it got a lot more physical than they did in New York.
They don't play out there, man.
You know what I mean? And this was a couple of months ago. They were actually out there. They had them on the nightly news. They was out there getting busy. Yeah. But the difference with this one is that I think in that particular story, you can go look this up. In Oregon, they had the drag queen. I don't know if it was a story time or a parade or a show or something like that. But that particular show had a young drag performer in it. The kid was about 11 years old. And I don't know what that kid was doing in that show, but apparently it was over-sexualized. And the people was like, oh, no. So
but
it was so bad. It was so bad. Actually, in that particular interview, a woman who was a lesbian, identified herself as a lesbian, said that was going too far. Like the show was going too far. And this woman was a lesbian. So I don't know what the kid did. It must have been crazy. But apparently the people in Oregon wasn't feeling it. They came out there, I kid you not, J-Rob, they had their pistols and everything. They had their rifles and all that. Right. Like, yo, y'all got to get out of town. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, what happened to PG-13 and rated R? Like, you kids shouldn't be exposed to certain things. Yeah. Like, you can't do that. It just ain't right.
And you know what? What it is it's all deeper than how they portray it. They pay it as it's like, oh, it's just a matter of fact. What's wrong with a drag queen just reading to your child? It's not that bad. So it's an attack on your children. It's an attack on these kids, man, because they know they want to put it in the mind of these children that this is okay. And again, whatever you want to do in your house, that's on you. You know what I mean? But you shouldn't force these things on people who just end the world, man. You can't go on TV, you can't go on nothing without seeing all of this all over the place. Why in the world? Who in the world thought of not a clown, not a Muppet, not a
X-Man or something,
X-Man or superhero,
a wrestler, fireman? You could have a whole bunch of
police
different
officer,
ideas.
old black woman, old white woman,
a doctor, lawyer, garbage man, something.
You just go wake up and find RuPaul and go put him in the library and let him read to children.
And this is a sponsored event, you know what I mean, by the city of New York, by councilman. And you know what's crazy about that? I wonder would that same energy be worse if it was like, you know, none of it's right, but like say stripper story time or porn star story time.
There you go.
Yeah,
you know
why
what I mean?
not?
Yeah.
Why not? It's all open season now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The event wouldn't be sponsored at all.
It wouldn't be sponsored.
It wouldn't be sponsored at all. You know what I mean?
It'd be so inappropriate to have those type of people around children.
Even the way the drag queen, the one news clipping that I saw, the way they're dressed up, it's like an evening gown or something like that. It's so weird. It's just weird, man.
What happened to this bringing Barney to the school to read to the kids?
What
man?
happened to Barney, man? what happened to Barney, man? It's getting scary out here, man.
Oh my God.
It's getting scary. And
all right, if they don't have it yet, I guarantee one of these drag queens will have a little Saturday morning show for the kids or something. Well, none of the kids don't do cartoons no more, but they'll have one of these like Pee-wee's Playhouse Saturday morning type things with a drag queen. If they don't have it already.
I'm gonna tell you what they're about to do. One of these drag queens is about to open up their little story time thing, man.
Oh, it's coming.
It's gonna be every week.
Yeah, well, they're doing it. Like, see, these are the ones that are advertised because of the protests and stuff.
Man,
so you got to think about the ones that's not advertised.
Yo, listen, I'd buy me a camera, and I'd be on site like Geraldo Rivera in this with me. You know what I mean? Protesting hard body, man.
Hey, that's something interesting. We might gotta actually do that.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, I'm down, man. Let me know when the next one's going on. Man. I'll bring my family with me.
This is how you make a difference.
That's how you start it, man. This might be my fight, man. That's what
be the change you want.
But you know what was crazy about it? I wonder if, I don't know if any petition went out or anything to have this had this event at the library, but I wonder if the amount of people who were against it were more than the amount of people that was for it. And this is probably what sparked the protest. Because I think that if there was people who didn't sign off or didn't want it, I guarantee you they weren't heard. You know what I mean? And they did it anyway.
Let me tell you what would be crazy, right? Let me show you how crazy the world is. Although I don't agree in Islam, and y'all know where I'm going. If somebody woke up tomorrow and said there's a Muslim reading children's books, the kids in the New York library, or a Christian reading Christian books or something like that in the children, they would go crazy. Mm-hmm. People would lose their mind, man.
Yeah. There's something right now called critical race theory. Yeah. They don't want certain books read to your kids at all. You know what I mean?
How about that? How about that though? They don't want you to teach the truth,
right?
But they want. Oh my! This.
Yeah, that critical race theory. That critical race theory is deep.
They banned. They got.
They don't want you to read the facts to the child about what's going on.
They got books that's banned right now that you can't teach your kids about.
But you can go get some tranny and mascara, and take them down to the local library and have a great time, man. It's disgusting.
Well, is it actually drag queen or tranny? Ain't the tranny the one that they join?
I think it's the same thing, man.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the difference.
And I hope to never understand.
It's a whole fact. Yeah, you're right.
We're not looking for the answer. Like Kanye told him we don't want the answers, man. We don't want it. Yeah, man, it's disgusting, man. And then
and again, man, to the alphabet community, we not saying that you should be deprived of rights and none of that. You know what I mean?
Don't force your way of life on everybody.
Don't put hands on them,
but this is wrong. Like you said, you wouldn't want a stripper. I'm saying you wouldn't want a drug dealer sitting there reading to your children.
It's a fact too, yeah.
Or a felon, if they know that they're a felon, you wouldn't want them sitting there reading to your children because of that status. But you come along with this bright idea that tranny story time was it.
You wouldn't want a Christian reading to your child. If you a tranny, you don't want them reading to your child. You know what I mean? So listen, I don't want you reading to my child. You don't want me reading your child. Sound great.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
So, well, I can't even say. Like, I wonder what books they was reading to the kids. It's not like drag queen centric.
Do it.
You could best believe.
I would hope not.
I would best believe it's one of them purple dust books they got.
Book,
yeah, it's something they pushing through in it because again they're attacking the children, man. They're attacking them, man. This is what they do. They put it in the kids' book or whatever like that. Even so much so now that when you talk to our children and stuff like that, a lot of the stuff is fair seeming to them.
Yeah.
It's fair seeming to them. Things that we didn't agree with or whatever the case may be, or it just was in our mind like, I don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Now it's kind of hard for them to look at something objectively because their best friend might be gay or whatever case may be.
It's not about saying that person's a bad person or that person's a guy or none of that type crap. Only thing it's saying is like, yo, this is not a good idea to have a drag queen reading to children.
Yeah, just don't force your sexual lifestyle.
That's not a good idea. Don't force your lifestyle on
your sexual habits on people, man. Just like no different than.
I don't even think you should be able to do this in a public library that I pay taxes for.
Yeah.
I don't think you should be able to do it.
That's what goes back to what I said originally. How many people were against it that weren't heard? That's probably what sparked this protest. I'm pretty sure there were probably a lot of people who would say, yo, I'm not for that. I'm not for that.
It probably was one good brother that walked up in that library where I was going down. He said, what?
Hey, you know what?
I just want to know. Back. I want to know how, when they brought this idea up, that they was like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. We're going to do that. Yeah. Like, no. Why nobody had the courage to be like, nah, that ain't it. And it's not to take shots at the alphabet community, but that ain't it.
Listen. It's about good and evil. But I'm going to be honest with you. And you folks can go look at it yourself. If you pull up that Pix 11 footage, it was white folks that was running up in the people's house. You know what I mean? There was white people out there protesting. You know what I mean? So you can't say it's a black thing.
I'm going to tell you what's even worse than that. Where these conscious community cats at? Running around all in New York, doing all kinds of goofy garbage, fighting the wrong battles, just debating each other on something that neither one of them ever is going to agree on.
I'm going to just say this right here.
This is a good fight. This is the good fight.
We had 3 stories.
One of the good fights.
We have 3 stories, okay? And again, this is not to pick on anybody because we already went down this road and it's over. We had 3 stories, 2 false prophets and some drag queens. Sound like a bad joke, but 2 false prophets and some drag queens. However, where was the Hebrew Israelites?
Yeah,
this is the fight that
dropping the ball.
Why y'all not surrounding the library? Why y'all not surrounding
man, I'm telling you,
Lord's church?
The next one, man. I might have to run up on a few of these people like this in Harlem. Like, yo, listen, man, come follow me.
They try to pick out their next show enough uniform.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. I don't know where this young go get
leather straps and come on down here, man.
Because you sent that classic video out of what's it, PF Boom, PK Boom, or whatever his name was.
Oh yeah, PK Boom.
PK Boom. Yeah. When he ran up on Jamal Bryant.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something.
Now that's an activist.
That's an activist because they was like high noon on that Joker, man. He was like, yo, you better get out of town before sundown. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We don't want you here.
We can't put it on here.
We can't put it on that yet because, definitely. Not to mention we're about to wrap up. But, man, that kid, I don't condone the language, but I understand the message.
Pierre Boone told Jamal Bryant, I don't want to see you here no more. You heard me? You gonna see you here one more time?
It's up. It's all the way up.
You understand what I'm saying?
I don't condone the language, but I understand the message. Because he was like, get out of town.
He did the Harlem Nights, so you understand what I'm saying?
You got to.
I understand.
You got till sundown to get out of here.
Then I see you again.
Yeah.
It's up in there.
Nobody's protesting this stuff. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, man.
Yeah, that's what it is. All right, guys, so we're going to get ready to wrap up, all right? Yeah. So we're going to keep our ear to the ground on this Daddy Rich situation.
I hope somebody hear this, man. Please tell me when the next rally of the protest is at. I want to hear this.
Yeah, man, that was sickening. All right, the Only One Mic podcast is available on all major platforms that you stream your podcasts on. You can check out the Only One Mic podcast YouTube channel to catch up on the past and current episodes. And don't forget to rate the show and subscribe. Instagram and Twitter at the Only One Mic P1. Facebook and LinkedIn at the Only One Mic podcast. And, you can email us too at the Only One Mic 00@gmail.com. There you can leave your thoughts and your comments as well. Also, I want to give a shout out to, a recognition. I got to check my own self. Rocco from the neighborhood. What up? What's up? All right. Luke, Anton Dyson, and Rich Bryson. Thank y'all. Just a few. Thank y'all for support. All right, we thank you again once again for your time, and we encourage you to please speak your truth quietly and clearly and listen to others, even the dull and the ignorant, because they too have their story to tell. So until next time, please keep in mind that we never had to run from the Ku Klux Klan, so we shouldn't have to run from a black man. Peace.
Peace.